Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Adam Nicholas from WhatCulture.
And this is the news.
Keep pointing, go on.
Keep
this is the news. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you
I'll
start.
bloody start. We've got some very interesting news to begin with about Finn Balor, who said that he will not be appearing at this year's Royal Rumble against Brock Lesnar as the Demon. This came in an interview with ESPN and Tim Fioravante. And basically, Balor says, I feel like maybe I leaned on the Demon too much there in the past as a crutch. And I can assure you that the man who faces Brock Lesnar at the Rumble will be Finn Balor, the man. Now that's very interesting wording indeed, because while he says he might not be the Demon against Brock Lesnar, what's to stop him from coming out and being the Demon in the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I think it's generally accepted that Finn Balor is probably going to lose against Brock Lesnar.
Finn Balor the man.
Finn Balor the man. And people speculating, well, are they going to bring him out as the Demon? He seems to have put that to bed. But like you say, if they do that match relatively early on in the night, I think everyone kind of knows the way it's going to go, as I said. And then later on, as you get towards, obviously not number 30, that's going to be our truth, but maybe number 29, to give him plenty of time to put that paint on. If he came back out as the Demon, I know we've had issues, let's just say, in the past with people having a championship match and then coming out in the Rumble later on. But this strikes me as something different and something that still get the fans excited.
I think that would be very exciting. I mean, imagine that you're in the middle of the Royal Rumble and all the lights go off and the Demon Finn Balor comes out and enters the Rumble. That would be great. But I think more importantly here is that I think Balor himself might maybe want to... There's kind of this angle where they're trying to prove that he can do it as the man, not as the Demon. And him, like, I think he's only lost once as the Demon. He lost against Samoa Joe at TakeOver the End, I want to say. But other than that, hasn't lost on the main roster as the Demon, so maybe having him against Brock this early as the Demon might not be the shout. Maybe they want to save it for WrestleMania.
Yeah, if that's the build, I'd take that if he could win the Rumble and then go on to do something like that. It does look like it's going to be Seth Rollins, but who knows? That's an interesting alternative.
Indeed.
Moving on, speaking of WrestleMania, in fact, it's now rumoured, according to Joe Pesich of Barnburner's Fired Up podcast, that Dean Ambrose is set to face a star of NXT at this year's WrestleMania.
Who could it be?
It's EC3.
No,
EC3, yes, it is rumoured by Mike Pesich to be, Joe Pesich even, of facing Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania. It's intriguing that in terms of the fact that obviously Dean Ambrose just lost the Intercontinental Championship. He said he's going to go in and win the Rumble, but after that, if he doesn't do that, he doesn't really have an opponent in the shows. And trusting EC3 so early on into his main roster debut to face someone like Dean Ambrose shows a lot of confidence that they have in him.
Well, when you get a man, Adam, who can spell his own name with his hands, how does he do it again? It's like
EC3.
I mean, how can he not be ready to face Dean Ambrose at the WrestleMania?
They're very hot on.
I think he's perfect for Vince, isn't he? He's like the big guy. He's got the look. He could potentially have the charisma. I just feel like at the moment he's perhaps a bit. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't done anything. He can talk on the microphone. So why have they not given him that opportunity to do it?
It's weird that they haven't let him speak yet.
There's a lot of vanity stuff going on, which will only get him so far, really. And he has to actually deliver the goods. In matches on NXT, you have to say, I haven't been incredibly impressed. But he doesn't necessarily need to have all the moves if he's going to play some cocky heel on the main roster.
And I saw Mick Foley the other day tweeting that he's expecting big things from him. So they obviously have a big plan for him, and facing someone like Ambrose at WrestleMania, both guys doesn't strike you as having something specific to do as of yet at WrestleMania, so that could work. And more news on EC3 for our And Finally piece a little bit later on. That's all I'll say.
All right,
now.
so you just keep that card in your back pocket and not tell me what that is. Okay, well, speaking of surprises that might take place, and this one did take place yesterday, Aiden English has joined the 205 Live commentary team. He's not there as a wrestler, and I don't think it means it's the end of his SmackDown wrestling career either, but he has joined Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness on commentary, where he will be the third man in a three-man commentary team. So, interesting move for you, this one?
Yeah, I'm glad they're doing something with them. I'm a huge fan of Aiden's, and it was such a waste when they blew up Rusev Day and just didn't even have a match on pay-per-view, did they?
No, I think the feud with Rusev kind of ended very abruptly. They had like a couple of matches on SmackDown. We found out what the tape was all about, that one night in Memphis. Minnesota, one night, something like that. And then we haven't really seen him since. What is nice to see, though, is that they obviously value his talent. Like, they obviously see, like, when he split up from Simon Grimm in the Vaudevillains, he kind of thought maybe there's nothing for him here. That's quite worrying. they obviously like the fact that he's talented, that he can sing, that he can talk.
Yeah.
So obviously putting him in a commentary role is maybe the best place for him.
Do you think, I don't know what his weight is, but do you think there's a way that they could eventually shoehorn him in a la sort of, CM Punk going on commentary and then coming off it? Or
Well,
we've seen it with Austin Aries.
Yeah, Austin Aries is a perfect example. Maybe they think that he could be down there and be on commentary, but also eventually work it in maybe towards WrestleMania as a fresh face to go and challenge for the Cruiserweight Championship.
I love watching Aiden English. I think he's, people obviously talk about his on the mic skills and his singing skills, obviously. I think in the ring, though, people are very, very underrated.
And as a tag team in NXT, I mean, him and as the Vaughn-Villains, they were great, man. They were so good at kind of working a good match together. They knew what they were doing in the ring. They obviously had the quality. The one biggest thing I'm really pleased about, though, very pleased that he's gone back to the shaved head look. I don't know if you saw that. He's got rid of the hair again. He's just got the beard. And I don't know. I really hope it works out for him, because he's a guy who has a lot of talent. I'd like to see it go well for him.
Best of luck to him on that as well. Let's move on to our final piece of the news today, and it doesn't centre around wrestling. We're not going to talk about AEW or WWE for once. We're going to talk about the XFL.
Ooh.
It is fast approaching. I think they're going to launch early 2020 is the date, and they've been looking into getting their own TV deals with the likes of ESPN and Fox, according to, this is John Urand of Sports Business Journal. Apparently they've been discussing that with ABC, obviously, with ESPN and Fox. They're not going to be on ESPN Plus as it looks right now, but they are slowly getting the ball rolling with that sort of thing. They are apparently looking to have all their head coaches in place very soon, as well as 8 star quarterbacks. Andy Murray and myself reported the other day they weren't going to be paying their quarterbacks anywhere near as much as the NFL. But let's not forget the previous incarnation of the XFL, according to Benjamin Richardson reporting this at WhatCulture.com, lost $35 million. So yeah, maybe they're just sort of pacing themselves.
Is it just the 35, was it?
Just the 35 in a year.
I really don't know what to expect from this. Like, when Vince made that announcement for the XFL to come back in 2020, he seemed, I mean, that is he's obviously got a big feeling that this could do well.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's going to be nowhere near it was when it first happened, because my God, that would be a disaster. But I think, like much as they changed WWE to PG, or like family-friendly kind of content, if they could do that with XFL and offer a different alternative to the NFL, maybe there's a chance. It's Vince McMahon. Of course there's a chance.
Exactly.
There's always a chance with Vince.
I'm a very casual American football fan. I'm very excited about the Super Bowl in a few weeks' time. And I certainly, if you combine American football with the madness of Vince McMahon, I will definitely be watching those first few matches. So I'm intrigued.
It's like the perfect amount of masculinity that isn't wrestling for Vince, isn't it? It's like, it must be right up his street.
I cannot wait for that. But let's move on now to your Twitter questions. Don't forget, you can tweet them at us every single day at WhatCulture WWE.
Just do it at him, at Adam Wilborn. Just flood him with messages. No, don't do it.
It's Adam Nicholas.
Oh,
let's start with our first one. It's a video question sent to us by Top Rope Davey. Let's see what Top Rope Davey has to say.
Hey guys, Davey here. Just wondering, if Finn Balor beats Brock Lesnar and becomes the Universal title holder, who do you want him to face at WrestleMania?
Who do you want him to face at WrestleMania? Now, Top Rope Davey said Shinsuke Nakamura. That doesn't look like it's going to be happening. Phil, before we get into that, actually, very sorry for Shinsuke Nakamura. Relegated to the pre-show a year after winning the Rumble.
I know, it's such a contrast, isn't it? It's such a vast contrast. And you can imagine that's probably going to be him not in the Rumble, possibly, as well. If they choose to be like, oh, well, you're in a match and you can't be involved. I don't know, but he's fallen a long way. But that technically wasn't the question, I guess. So
let's say, it's a long shot, but let's say Finn Balor defeats Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Who does he face at WrestleMania?
Who does he face, or who would I like to see him face?
Or who would you like to see him face?
Who would I like to see him face? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know why I said that, because I don't know the answer to either. I think, potentially, if he did, then I could see probably a rematch between him and Seth being on the cards, because that would be what the logical thing, I think, because Seth would be like, well, we had the match the first time, you won at SummerSlam, I won a chance and you're the champion again, and never got a rematch kind of thing. Well, not that he lost the title, but you know what I mean. So that would be, I'd imagine that's where WWE would go with it. Me personally, I don't know. I'd really quite like to see Balor and, just off the top of my head, Samoa Joe again. I just somehow come across.
I was going to say, look, in the Rumble, bollocks. It all goes out the window. Samoa Joe wins the Rumble. He looked dominant on SmackDown last night. and he hasn't have to challenge so this on SmackDown. Imagine that if it's the maddest thing. It definitely isn't going to happen.
No,
Balor wins the Universal Championship, and Joe comes over to Raw and says, "I want to face you."
And also because Joe's the only man who beat the Demon. What if I just did that in the promo? It'd be great. It's all there. It's right on the paper.
But, Brock's going to win.
Anyway,
Seth's going to win the
Brock
Rumble.
wins, lol. Moving on.
Victor Marshall is the next question, saying, what's a stable that is each of you would bring back with updated members from today's wrestling scene?
Ooh. The Brood. We can't see
The
past
Brood.
the Brood. I always loved the Brood. Although, I love that incarnation of the Brood.
Okay.
I'm not sure who I would have. Basically, you got to pick some weird gothic-y looking kind of guys and gals, maybe. Nikki Cross obviously comes to mind, but she feels almost too crazy for the Brood, though. Would that be fair? They were weird, but they weren't really crazy, were they?
No.
So, who would you have? Have you got any?
If you're going to have the Brood, just have the entirety of Sanity
just
as the
all
Brood.
of Sanity in big shirts.
Yeah.
Just basically wandering around with flames and blood.
Yeah, and for my stable, bring back with updated numbers. I know Phil James is going to love this. Phil and I basically use these news videos to push the fact that we need to see Too Cool back. Now, obviously, the old incarnation wouldn't be coming back because of
I was going to say that might be difficult. That one.
Yes, exactly.
That one.
But updated members, off the top of my head, you've got R-Truth and Carmella. You could have them in there. And sod it, my guy, No Way Jose. The three of them, bring them back as Too Cool. A dance-off at the Royal Rumble.
So No Way Jose is your Rikishi.
I don't know who's Rikishi in this scenario.
No, come on, let's really push you.
Well, no, I tell you what we need. The whole point of Rikishi is he was a beast, and we saw that in the 2001 Rumble, where he was coming in destroying people. They put the sunglasses on him, and all of a sudden, hey, it's dancing time. So you need.
It's dancing time.
You need.
That's your night out, isn't it?
Hey, it's dancing time.
It's dancing time.
Braun Strowman is the Rikishi. Look, if they're going to make him this comedy figure and not give him the bloody Universal Championship, let's have that. Okay. Right, let's move on to today's final question. It comes from Mark Gallagher. He sends us loads of brilliant videos performing with his ukulele. If you want to check him out, markgallaghermusic.com. There's links there to his Spotify, to his YouTube. Make sure you go and check that out. Let's see what question he sent us today, though.
Finn Balor from last year, Jericho year before, Benoit from 2004. The Iron Man Rumble spot is famous and revered. Who do you think will take it this year?
That's a good one. Who is going to be the Iron Man? And perhaps even Iron Woman?
Iron Woman. Let's do both.
Yeah.
Let's do Iron Man and Iron Woman. Iron Man. I feel like
there's an obvious one, isn't there? There's a guy who's been the Iron Man for WWE on several occasions, through gauntlet matches, through.
Yeah, well, I know, but
Scotty Too Hotty.
Sky Too High.
There we go.
Now, let's exclude Seth Rollins out of this.
I'm all fairly confident that Rollins might be the winner. An Iron Man would be great. You got to think who's going to be great for, haven't you? Who's it going to help? You know who I think would be a good pick? Mustafa Ali.
Oh, yeah.
As an Iron Man. Just get him in there, the underdog getting beat down. Or, for some reason, if he's in there, just bring Johnny Gargano for the night. Just chuck him in there and have him be the. But that's. I think
New
Mustafa
North
Ali's,
American champion.
Mustafa
Johnny
Ali's
Gargano,
the guy. Yeah, well, potentially. He has hoping.
I'm going to go with Kofi Kingston. And because I know he's there usually in the Rumble to have funny little spots.
Drop your little theory. I quite like this.
Yeah, I read this. I read this the other day, but I thought it was fantastic. It's not going to happen. Kofi Kingston wins the Royal Rumble and challenges Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship.
By being the Iron Man, obviously.
By being the Iron Man as well. Kofi Kingston and the New Day overall as being this consumerist nightmare, according to Daniel Bryan, and it would give Kofi Kingston that chance to break out and have another singles push, which I think he definitely deserves. And the New Day needs something new, pardon the pun, anyway. But if that doesn't happen, just having Kofi be the Iron Man, you can have a couple of fun spots where he almost gets eliminated, that's fine. But I think if you have him do that, that could be the stepping stone, regardless of whether or not he goes for the WWE Championship or just goes for another singles run. That could be the catalyst for him stepping away from the New Day. I'm not saying you break them up at all, but I think that could be really useful for him. In terms of the women's, it depends who needs it. I tell you what, I mean, what a return it would be if you could have Alexa Bliss be the Iron Woman.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss could be a great one. Bayley immediately comes to mind.
One.
She comes to, I don't know where she's going to be and where she's going to land for the Rumble, but Bayley would be the one that were coming to my head.
I think that I always find that the Iron Man spot, unless you're going to give it to the person who wins the Rumble, which could obviously be Seth, it's a great position to rehabilitate someone.
Helps to build somebody back up, someone who's maybe lost a bit of the drive.
I think Bayley could use that the
she's
most.
kind of the prime candidate for that, I think, at the minute.
Sasha's got the match
Sasha
with
and
Ronda,
Ronda are all
and
busy.
it's been effing and jeffing all over social media.
What about Charlotte Flair? Would they give it to her, or is she going to win it anyway? I don't know.
Yeah, it depends whether you think she's going to win it. I'd like maybe if she did the Iron Woman spot and then Becky came out at the end.
Becky comes out and wins it, yeah.
Let's do that. Right, let's move on to today's and finally, and I mentioned EC3 earlier on. This is possibly the most WWE booking I have heard. This is according to Brian Alvarez on one of the latest editions of Wrestling Observer Radio.
I'm a bit concerned
He
about
has
this.
suggested, we mentioned earlier that EC3 might face Ambrose at Mania. In the meantime, a temporary feud for EC3 that has been suggested, and I could completely see this, is EC3 versus Bobby Lashley, because in the words of Brian Alvarez, and this is so much more true after Raw this week, they both like posing. The entire basis for a feud right there.
Good. So
He's not wrong.
He's not. I mean, what? The whole match is just going to be them having a
They had a
pose
bloody
off?
pose off against Apollo Crews this week on Raw. I don't know, EC3 interrupts
Do you know,
them.
actually-
It worked so well for that Triple H Scott Steiner feud all those years ago, didn't it?
Oh, we get an arm wrestle again. That would be cool. Do you know what it is? Funnily enough, as much as I like to give them a whole load of rubbish for their rubbish ideas, why not?
Yeah.
Like, just do something daft. Like, it doesn't all have to be great. Those guys are doing... I'm not sure it'd be a great way to introduce EC3, personally. I feel like the whole
done
thing with
so
the
well
mirror,
so far,
the
yeah.
mirror and the spray and the...
Pound store mirror.
He keeps doing the... Oh. Ah. In the mirror, that's really weird. I don't
Let
know.
him talk!
Yeah, just let him speak, or just do
God's
something. But yeah, maybe not.
And while you're at it, Bobby Lashley should wear the belt on his arse because of his pose thing. It's right there,
What does
guys.
he do? What does he go on? Do it at the camera. Go on.
Right, this has been today's news.
I thought you were going to start talking.
Let me know, yeah.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for all of our Twitter questions today.
Thank you very
My
much.
thanks to Adam Nicholas. Thank you for watching. The bees keep on buzzing.
The bees will keep on buzzing.
And we will see you soon.
See you soon.